you notice I never finished the rest of the phrase.
Evan, are you ready?
But if you're familiar with it, you know where you use that phrase. That's how we cut it off that.
Okay.
I feel like it's
You can catch me up later.
Yeah, that's right. Not on the hot mic.
Good evening, everyone. It is 5:08 on this Thursday, June 20th. Your Glendora Unified School District Board of Trustees is now back from closed session, and we have no reportable action. We are going to call this meeting to order and have a roll call.
Trustee Reuter,
Here.
Trustee Markley,
I'm here.
Vice President Garcia,
Here.
President Clifford,
Present.
and please note that Lopez is not here.
Thank you very much. Please rise, put your right hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We are now going to 3.5 public comment. I have one speaker card. Please come up and address the board. Mr. Michael Barron.
So this will be pretty quick. So my question, it doesn't have to be answered now, it could be answered.
Mr. Barron, can
Oh,
you pause for 1 second?
Sure.
I'm so sorry, we didn't adopt the agenda.
3.4.
I
Oh.
move to adopt the agenda. Second.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All those in favor? Any opposition?
I motion, Robin seconded.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you for catching it, Tracy.
That's okay. You know,
No problem.
the funny thing is we could have done that anytime because it wasn't adopted yet. So it's okay. Now, sir, if you wouldn't
Okay.
mind starting collect your thoughts for a
So-
minute and start again.
Just wanted to get clarification at some point in time this afternoon. I saw towards the end of the LCAP packet that books and supplies were down $2.4 million for 2024-2025 from the year that just passed. And I figure that's because we bought a lot of books and supplies before, but that was a big dollar amount. And I kind of wanted to hear kind of why. And then the services and other operating expenses were up $2.3 million, and that was up 21%. And that's kind of a vague description. So I was wondering, what are we talking about there? That in terms of other expenses, you know, are we, what are we increasing there by so much? So I think I'd like to get some clarification on that. And then the last thing was in the presentation on Monday, it was shown that the enrollment level for the state of California was down over 5% from 2018-2019 to, I think, 2021-2022, because this issue of declining enrollment is one that affects the ADA reimbursements and has a big impact. And we kind of thought, oh, well, that's about what Glendora's enrollment is down. But when I did the actual math, the enrollment decline by year over that 5-year period for the state was 1.06%. But for Glendora it was 1.9%, which means that our school district is experiencing a faster decline than the state of California. And so I just think this is an important piece of information to be aware of. And, you know, there's been various explanations of why that's the case. And so I just wanted to bring that up. So those are the two things. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Barron. I see no other cards or people in the room, so I will close public comment. And we will move to block number 4. Block number 3.7, comments from the members of the Board of Education.
Staff presentation.
Did I miss another thing here? Where am I here? Oh, yes, staff presentations, the California Dashboard Local Indicators. One of the reasons we're here. Thank you.
Okay. So I gave you a little preview on Monday that we had to refer back to the local indicators. And if you remember, I did show this slide as a little teaser. But for each local indicator, the State Board of Education has adopted performance standards, and we are required to annually measure our progress in meeting those. We have to report them as a part of a non-consent item at the public meeting where you adopt the LCAP, which is what we're doing today. And then we also add them to My CD Connect, which makes them appear on the dashboard. So what I'm referring to today are not the color coded gas ranges, but where it says met. And I'll just go through very quickly how we determine that we've met these local indicators. For most of the local indicators, we do a self-reflection tool that has a measure of 1, which would be 1 meaning its expiration phase, 3, for example, is initial implementation, and then 5 is full and sustainable. And I will tell you that we did not give ourselves as the self-reflection of 5 in any area because we're always improving in all of those areas. So our goal is really the 4 because everything is always constantly changing. If we were fully sustainable, then we wouldn't be open to adjustments and changes. So the first local indicator is under priority 1, and that is our assignment of our teachers, making sure that our credentialed teachers match what they're teaching. I can tell you that we do not have that rating as of yet. It used to be just determined locally by through the HR department. Now there's a formula that is then given to us when the dashboard is published. But all of our 22-23 missed assignments have been corrected, and the other piece is the safe, clean, and functional facilities, which is measured by our FIT tools, which we adopted when we adopt the SARCs. Priority 2 is the implementation of state standards. And as you can see, there's a few different areas we look at. We look at professional development, instructional materials, policy and program support, are the standards and engagement in leadership. And those are where we get that rating of a 1 to 5. And it's what you see where it says 4-3- so forth. That is ELA, ELD, which is English Language Development, math, science, and history. So for example, in the area of professional development, you'll see it says 4-3-3-4-4, which means we really are focusing this year on our professional development in the area of our ELD standards and math. And we changed that from last year where we had a 4, and we put that to a 3, and we changed science from a 3 to a 4 because last year was a science adoption year and we were doing a lot on that. We've moved that up. We put math to a 3 because there's the new math framework that has been released, and we will be spending the next upcoming year really digging deep into the math framework, which approaches math instruction in a little bit different way. So we want to make sure that that's our area of focus. So overall, we have met that local priority 2. And then there's this shows priority 3 and priority 6. That is parent and family engagement. Again, that's on a rating scale. And we seek input from our school site council, ELAC, and of course the LCAP meetings. And then we look at the self-reflection tool. And we have 3 areas that we look at: building relationships between school staff and families, building partnerships for student outcomes, and seeking input for decision making. And we have full implementation in all of those areas. That's a scale of 1 to 4. When we look at school climate, we have also met that. And oh, look at it, says me. After how many times have I seen that? It's actually met. It's not all about me. And we did that through our panorama surveys that we referenced the data at our last meeting. But looking at those surveys and getting inputs, we are building our strengths with our partnerships, with our increased collaboration with parents and families, as well as an increase in student support services. So we gave a lot of those examples before, like Glendora Gives, increased interventions, everyday labs, Let's Talk. And then the survey data really did show that our parents felt that they had little barriers to engagement. And our focus next year is really looking at meeting the needs of all learners. So we took that information to guide our PD. And our last 2 priorities Our last priority, is priority 7. That's an access to a broad course of study. We met that priority, and what we do here is look at access and enrollment in a broad case of study across all of the schools. There we use the CCI indicator and qualitative data. We look at making sure that we share that with you, the Board of Education, and we do that in our master schedule analysis, like the GHS course catalog, and looking at grades and assessments. We look to any barriers for student access, and we've noted that our results have indicated that we have very few barriers here at GUSD. One that may contribute is possibly some students that are on goal because of the different courseworks that they take through Edgenuity. That might be considered a barrier to the broad case of study, but we've done a really good job of finding ways around that. For example, doing some goal for part of the day, and in class, they go for maybe one course. So we've worked through that barrier. So we've met that, and that's priority 7. So our next steps as far as local indicators is when we approve the local indicators with the approval of the LCAP, and then we activate this and add that to the dashboard. And that is our local indicators. Any questions?
Thank you very much for that presentation. Now we will move to comments from the members of the Board of Education, starting to my left. Or do you want me to start to the right?
No, I've got one comment.
There you go.
I just want to, on Tuesday, Governor Newsom announced an intention to ban cell phones in K through 12 instruction in the state of California. And I wanted to say that I fully support that initiative that he has brought forward. We've already got our 2 middle schools who have had cell phone bans for the last 2 years maybe at Goddard and 1 year at Sandburg this past year, right around there. I recognize that it will be a challenge at GHS, but I know from my own kids that there are already teachers that have, let's call them cell phone lockers in their classroom, et cetera. So while there will be some growing pains, I think that there is a lot of data that shows that getting those cell phones out of the kids' hands during at least the school day and school hours would be very beneficial to their emotional needs, et cetera. So you've got my full support as far as that's concerned. That is all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. I too would support that. And I've heard a lot of feedback from teachers and parents, and I know we're gonna have people who don't support it, who don't think it's a great idea. As with anything, you're not going to get 100% approval and support, and I know there's challenges. I did watch the LAUSD meeting where they brought that up, and they actually passed it as well. And I heard some teachers actually giving their opinions about it and the challenges that they've had in the classroom. So I don't know what it's going to look like, but I definitely support it. As since I have a little bit of time, and my apologies for not bringing this up on Monday, but I did want to say Happy Pride Month. I do want our community, our students, our teachers who identify as part of our LGBTQ plus community to understand that we support them. We hope to continue to find ways to embrace and respect who they are so that they can feel safe in our schools and in our community to come as they are. Just like all of us are able to show up as who we are, I hope they too continue to increasingly become more comfortable to show up and be embraced and respected for who they are. I know that maybe as a city, we may not be fully ready to understand what that looks like, but I do appreciate there is a local organization in our city who is willing to take that challenge on, and I appreciate them for it. They are having a Pride picnic at Finkbeiner this coming Saturday. Gosh, I don't have the form, but I think it starts at 4 or 3. I'm not sure. I'll post it on my social media if anybody, feel free to email me if you need that information. Do you have it? 3 to 7 at Finkbeiner on Saturday. It's not just for the LGBTQ community. It is for us to understand, to have conversations, to learn about what this looks like and what it means, so that we can have a little bit more love in our hearts and patience and understanding and build relationships with our neighbors and our community members, our students, our teachers, who all identify, those that identify with LGBTQ. So I am grateful that we have that, and it's a third annual, which is great that it continues to come back, and I understand that it is bigger and better this year. So hopefully I will not be able to attend, unfortunately. I have a commitment, but I hope our community shows up to learn and increase their tolerance and acceptance. So that's all I have.
Trustee Berkeley, no comment? Thank you, and no comment from me. I appreciate that very much. That takes us to block 4, which is 4.1. To approve the Glendora Unified School District Local Control and Accountability Plan. The acronym for that is LCAP. For the 2024-2025 school year. There you go. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion from the board on this issue? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? That passes. We will move to,
Oh, yeah.
photo finish on the second.
Yes.
4.2 is to approve the 2023-2024 estimated actuals and the final budget for 2024-2025.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, that also passes. That moves us to 5.1, and it is 5:24. This meeting is adjourned.
That could be the record. Even with the